Goeienaand vanuit die Geloofsentrum Universitas en welkom by die tweede reeks van Anton en Vrinne. In hierdie kort reeks van net 2 episodes gaan ek weer saam met 'n klomp talentvolle musikante optree van Bloemfontein en omstreke. Vanaand se episode is getiteld A Night at the Opera. So as jy nie jou das en baadjie aan het of jou aantrok nie, gaan YouTube jou flag as 'n onstigtelike opera toeskouer. Nee, ek grap sommer net. Waar jy ook al is en wat jy ook al aan het of nie aan het nie, mag jy hierdie episode vanaand geniet, as ook die uittreksels wat ons doen uit operas en musiekblyspele. Voordat ek die sangers van vanaand aan julle bekendstel, wil ek graag melding maak van die instrumentaliste wat saam met my die musiek begelei. Op die fluit het ons vir Marais de Booysen. Nou ek en Marais kom al 'n lang pad, ek ken haar al van haar skooldae af, en ek en Marais het al in soveel produksies saam gespeel. Ek weet nie hoeveel nie, Marais, maar ek weet dis baie. Marais is ook die suster van Maggie Anderson, wat in ons vorige reeks opgetree het. Op die cello het ons vir Cornelia van Eswege. Ek en Cornelia het ook al baie saam gespeel, veral hier in die kerk. En op perkussie het ons vir Jaco de Wet, wat ook in ons vorige reeks was. Baie dankie dat julle vanaand hierdie musiek saam met my begelei. Die eerste sanger wat ek aan julle wil bekendstel vanaand, en julle het haar al gehoor, is charity.leburu. Ek het vroeër vandag 'n bietjie met haar gesels. Charity, I met you when you sang in the Music on Soloist competition a couple of years ago here in Bloem. And I was one of the adjudicators there, and you won that competition.
Yes.
And since then you've done a couple of performances in and around Bloemfontein. Last year you also participated in the, I must get the name right now, the Voices of South Africa International Opera Singing Competition. And you won the first prize there in the soprano category.
Yes.
And I think the viewers will in a few moments see why. And if I'm not mistaken, you've just completed your diploma in music also at the University of the Free State?
Yes.
Okay, now our viewers might not know this, but Charity comes from a very holy place. She comes from Kimberley in the Northern Cape. Now, when did you discover that you had this amazing, powerful voice?
Okay, so I started singing when I was 7 years old. So I was singing in my church choir. My brother was a conductor there. So he would make me sing everything, every solo that was there in the music, I would sing it. So he was not going to question. I had no choice of not doing it. So he was my cheerleader. So I had to sing. So around 9 years, that's when I realized, okay, now I could hear people saying, "No, Charity, you have a voice." Then it would really get in my head that yes, I do really, and believe that I do have a voice. Because I was singing Macbeth, I was singing Verdi, I was singing, you know, there was a lot. So that's how I discovered that there is a voice.
Yeah. And who are your role models?
My role models would be Sibongile Sibongile Mngoma, Pretty Ende, and then overseas it would be Maria Callas, Anna Netrepko, Cecilia Bartoli. So yeah, there's a lot of them.
And is there a specific operatic role that is sort of your dream role that you would like to sing one day?
I would love to sing Mimi.
In La Bohème?
In La Bohème, yes. And I would also love to sing Madame Butterfly.
Okay, but we'll keep our eyes peeled and see if that dream gets realized. I sincerely hope so.
Thank you.
Charity is going to sing for us a lovely song by Richard Strauss called ALLERSEENEN.
Steh auf den Tisch.
Fets Mofokeng, better known as Fets Mofokeng. I remember we started working together in 2011 when I was music producer for the graduation ceremonies here at the varsity. You've got your training, or you received your training from Opera Free State, and you also sang in numerous productions for them, as well as for Opera Africa. And you toured Europe with the Opera Free State Chorus, where you sang solos in Vienna and Zurich, and what was the other one? Salzburg, yes.
Yes.
But you're not just a singer, you also run a barbershop. So where does that interest come from?
Thank you very much, Anton, for having me. That love for barber shop and messing with other people's hair. I started at very early when I grew up in Kwatwa. So the love, because at my place we had this small head clipper. Then I will use it like around the young kids around. But one day what happened was this young boy, I cut his hair and then he went home. The mother was so happy, and then the boy came back and gave me R150 and said, hey, my mother said I must give you this. And then I was like, what? And then he said, yes, my mother she's so happy with what you did. I'm like, wow. And then
light bulb moment.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was like, okay, can I do this? And then I started, there was this development now at school. When I was at high school, my friends will come to me, I'll be the one who was doing it. And then that love grew.
So you've been a barber much longer than you.
Yes, that is something that even singing was not there to say, because you see, when one sings at school, sometimes you're like, okay, let me do something at school, not even thinking where you can get to or the seriousness of it. Especially because even after my school, after matric, I studied something else that is away from singing. I studied, though I did not finish it, I studied to become accounting. So wow. There was nothing like music in but now the continuation in terms of singing the choir was there. So my conductor then, by the name of Sipombat, he was the one that introduced me to opera music. And I remember I used to listen to this opera every Sunday. Then I will record with those cassettes.
Yes.
And then I will record there, sit there. I fell in love with J.R.L. Milnes. And then I will record, and then during the day, I will be busy imitating this person. Okay. And then I'll be like, okay, especially when you wash. You make noise, and then I'm like, okay. And then the choir singing happened. And then I went to school, and then eventually I came to Bloemfontein. I stopped the barber thing. That's when I said, okay, let me push this music thing, and then take it seriously. I think it's only 2 years back. You know, when something will just deal with you inside. But Hermann, this thing that you've been doing, why are you not doing it again? So
and then you opened your barbershop.
Then I opened the barbershop.
So pretty soon you can start a barbershop quartet.
You will never know. You'll never know. Yes, you'll never know.
And composers whose music you like to sing?
You know, I'll say Verdi. And then to support that, during my licentiate, when I was doing my licentiate with Trinity College of London, in terms of the remarks, because Verdi was one of the composers that I was doing there, they were so happy with my Verdi, and then they even encouraged me to pursue more of his work. So I'll say composer that I feel more is Verdi, but you'll never know. I think if one looks after one's voice with opportunities, I don't know what will happen at the end. But Verdi will be the number one that I will say. I'll go.
Okay.
This is my first pick.
Okay.
Yes.
Fets is going to sing a number from the oratorio Elijah by Felix Mendelssohn, and that is the aria, Lord God of Abraham.
Yes, from
All
Elijah.
Right. Enjoy.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I remember watching a DVD many years ago, a Huisgenoot Skouspel DVD, and I heard this amazing voice singing Schubert's Ave Maria. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, I hope that one day I can work with this person. And here we are, many Sunday spirits later, and fyn geslyp on which we work together. What a privilege to be working with a person of your stature, Bongi, a person whose CV is as long as the South African coastline. You've done so many things in your life, apart from just singing. I mean, you've been at so many places. You sang in Italy and in the Royal Albert Hall in Britain. Being in so many places and seeing so many people, different people from all walks of life, is there something that stands out for you in all of this? Something that you say, this is a constant, no matter what the situation or the place or the people involved?
What is the one thing that is a constant? For me, that would be the singing itself, because what is it that takes me to all these different places? It's music. Lulu van der Walt once said to me, music is king. So wherever I go, it's not about whether there's a queen or a president or whoever. It's about we are here for the music. It's not for you. It's not for me. It's not about my ego or my reputation. It's about the actual music. So if we can't respect that, then there's absolutely no reason why we're in that space. So whether I get to sing in the Royal Albert Hall or the Royal Concert Hall or the State Theatre in Pretoria or the Saint du Plessis in Bloem, bottom line is I'm there for the music and nothing else.
And the music speaks for itself.
Absolutely.
There are two sides of Bongi that I know of. There's the soft-spoken Bongi, and then there's the fiery Bongi, the activist. Where does that come from, that side of Bongi? Where does it come from?
The activist side of Bongi comes from a sense of wanting justice, always, and fairness. And, you know, I've been a practicing artist most of my adult life. So I know what goes on when things don't go well. When things go well, I know what it looks like. And I know when people take advantage because they always think that artists will not follow up. And that comes from that, a sense of wanting justice and fairness and the right thing to be done.
Well, it's good to know that we have a fighter for our artists. You have a couple of Afrikaans songs in your repertoire. What is it about the Afrikaans language that interests you?
It's such a beautiful language. You know, Afrikaans, growing up, Afrikaans was always associated with violence and bad things and black people just not being happy. And growing up and discovering the musical side of Afrikaans, it took away the ugliness of what I grew up with and understanding about Afrikaans. And the more music I listened to and tried out, the more I fell in love with the language. It's so beautiful, it's so poetic, and it's easy to sing to. You know, I know that's an unexpected thing to say, but it actually sings well. It's the same as, you know, with German. A lot of people would like, oh, well, you know, it sounds like such a harsh language, but it's a beautiful sing. It's a different style to maybe your Zulu or your Italian, but it's a much easier sing than English, for example. So it's beautiful to sing.
And Sibongile is going to sing a beautiful Afrikaans song called HEIMWEE. Looking forward to that.
So
Baie dankie aan my gastkunstenaars van vanaand. Sibongile, Charity and Fets, thank you for sharing your talents with us. This episode would not have been possible without the assistance of the National Arts Council. So a big thank you to the NAC for making this whole season of Anton en Vrinne 2 possible. As julle van hierdie kunstenaars wil gebruik maak, hulle kontakbesonderhede verskyn hieronder aan die video. Julle sal nie spyt wees as julle hulle bespreek nie en ons kunstenaars het werkbrood nodig in hierdie tyd. Ons het vanaand begin met 'n nommertjie van Rodgers en Hammerstein en ons sluit ook weer af met 'n Rodgers en Hammerstein nommer. En dit is die baie mooi You'll Never Walk Alone uit die musiekblyspel Carousel. En daarmee sê ons goeienaand en 'n mooi week vir julle almal.
Oh
Volgende week op Anton en Vrinne 2. Kom kyk hoe behendig hanteer Moira van der Merwe meer as 30 verskillende Tiroolse klokke. Heinrich Lategan beweeg soos 'n warrelwind van een perkussie-instrument na 'n ander, terwyl Johanita Erasmus alt sorg vir groot klanke uit die orgel. Moenie hierdie welluidende episode van Anton en Vrinne 2 misloop nie. Klingel, blaas en donder. Sondag aand 30 Mei om 8:00 op YouTube.